Hello, I am Mr. How to Not Unalive Yourself, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to navigate the AAA games industry and make sure that you don't get nickel and dimes and you don't basically have your money taken from you for garbage games. Today we're going to be talking about Remedy Entertainment, which is my favorite game developer. Alan Wake 2 is what got me into wanting to go to college for game development. So this is pretty near and dear to my heart, and I'm really sad to see that they are making bad management choices for their leadership in the company that will lead to their company making MMOs or free-to-play type games that will nickel and dime you for slop, basically. So, if you haven't heard, Remedy Entertainment appointed this guy, Jean-Charles, whatever his last name is, I can't pronounce it, as the next CEO. This is pretty bad because the two leading CEOs of Remedy have stepped down and they're in interim positions. I don't think they have sold their stocks yet, or shares in the company, which their shareholders and financial reports and everything, Remedy is pretty cool. You can see that all online, so you can just go to their website and look at this. So today we're going to be going over pretty much the 12 biggest stockholders in Remedy Entertainment, and we're going to be making educated inferences on where the company will be going in the future based off of their new CEO. So, let's learn about Mr. Jean-Charles, right? So, Mr. Jean-Charles, he worked at EA's Singapore and Stockholm studios and CCP Games from 2013 to 2018. Now, he worked at EA prior to 2013. I do not know if he went back to work for EA after he worked at CCP Games. It's really hard to find information on this guy right now, because anytime that you search his name on the internet, all you're going to get is everybody talking about how he is the new CEO for Remedy and how he vows to protect what Remedy makes special, which is corporate bullshit speak, because this guy specializes in MMOs and free-to-play games and garbage. So, let's see, what are the wonderful games that he has made? Alright, Need for Speed World, a flop, basically, because it was a MMO that EA was trying to make, in order to be able to put cars into it with free updates and then sell them, obviously. So then we look at other games he had. Battlefield Heroes, which canceled, and was another free-to-play game supported by ads and micropayments. Let's see. Eve Dust 514. I've never ever heard of this. Ever. What is this, a mobile game? What is it on? Lead Software. What is this game built on? Gameplay, media type, download, 32 players. Oh, it was on the PlayStation 3. Okay. So, I guess there was this. How did this... I don't know how this did commercially. Let's see. Oh, a discontinued free-to-play first-person shooter. Okay, so we're seeing... Are we starting to see the pattern here? So, yes, they hired someone who is specifically designed for nickel and diming people, because you know that's what FIFA's for. It comes out every year. And now FIFA's whole gimmick is the pro team or whatever, where you have to spend money to get better players and stuff like that. So this guy's entire portfolio is online games or the EA games that come out annually because stockholders demand them to, and they don't have anything implemented. What's Boogie? This is probably the only fucking like game he made that maybe had soul in it. Anyways, yeah, this guy is gonna be awful. 100% Remedy hired him in order to make money because anyone can look it up and see that. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyone can look up and see that Remedy has not been satisfied with their financial performance in the last 2 years. It took them almost either a year or over a year in order for Alan Wake 2 to be a financial success, and they really are disappointed about the poor sales from FBC Firebreak. Though, they keep trying to push Firebreak as this multiplayer game. They refuse to give it any real single-player support, even though it has a very low player base. If we go to the Steam charts, which I understand are not, the player count for everything, but this is the one we got, right? So, we look at FBC Firebreak. It does not really have a player base. At least it doesn't have a player base on PC. Alan, out, buddy. Sorry. It doesn't have a player base on PC. Maybe it has a player base on Xbox. I doubt it, because almost any time I go play the game, I have a hard time queuing up with anybody. Alan, enough, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. Come here. Sorry. Doing dog dad stuff. So, we can go to his LinkedIn. I believe games come best from empowered team. Given the space, I don't want to fucking sign in. I don't need a LinkedIn. Alright, this isn't going to show me anything. Anyway, there's his LinkedIn, if any of you want to go to it. Oh, man. I just fucked up, didn't I? Ubi Games. There. Alright. People. Profile. There we go. Okay. So, anyways, you see this guy's portfolio. Now, let's get back to the shareholders. Now, even though Marcus McKee and Taro Vitrila, are two of the people that also started Remedy and have a lot of stock in it, combined together, Sam Lake, which is Sam, I'm gonna fuck up his last name here. This is Sam Lake. They have a combined about, let's round this up to 27 or 29. They have about 30% in the company. So the three guys that run it basically have a third of a say in everything that they do, but a third is not enough to win over votes. That's not over 50%, which is what brings me to why I'm worried that Mr. Jean-Charles has been hired. Now, if you look at the other wonderful, wonderful shareholders here, you're going to see a lot of these big names. Now, we're going to go through that. The first one is going to be the Scandinavian, the leading Nordic corporate bank is SEB, or the Scandinavian is, I can't pronounce that. Yeah, so a major corporate bank that only cares about making money, And then the next one is Citibank Europe, another major corporate bank that only cares about money. The fourth person is Sam Lake, who we can always trust that he will probably do everything he can to try to keep Remedy doing what Remedy has been doing. Same thing with Terra of Italia, who a few months ago has stepped down and became a interim CEO or whatever for the agreed transition period, which basically means he still has, I guess, some say for now, but not for much longer, because I believe once Jean-Charles comes in, I mean, they still have stake in their company because it's not sold here, and because it's publicly traded, I assume, and on here it would have shown. So they still have say in what the company will do. So I'm not completely worried of this man, Taro, and Marcus not being in charge. If you want to read more about them, their core management team is on here. All these people are important, but the problem is that they own less than most of them own less than 1% in the company. So the reason why that is bad is the more you keep going down here, the more banks. Clearstream Banking SA. Clearstream Banking is one of the two world-leading international central security depositories. The other one being Euroclear Bank, which I believe might have had... I don't know. I might have saw them on here, but I don't... There's a lot of banks here. Right here, Linton Saku. This guy is responsible for the audio-visual experience, so this wonderful gentleman probably will also, we can have faith in, that he will try to keep the Remedy Entertainment making single-player focused, narrative-driven story games that are works of art. The problem with that is the guy right below him is, I'm gonna mess this up, but another bank investor firm thing. I don't really have the best background to understand who these people are, but if they're involved in money and investing strategies, that's what they care about, not necessarily the art that Remedy Entertainment likes to make, or the creatives that are in the company working as developers. We go down from that. After Evil Finish is this. I can't pronounce that. Akita Capital, which is this company here, which is a equity fund investing in Finland. Akita Capital is suitable for you if you want to invest mainly in fund investing in shares of Finnish quality companies and thus benefit from the growth opportunities. At the same time, you're prepared to bear the risk of developing the Finnish stock market. So again, this is a investing firm trying to build the Finnish economy, which again, none of this is like necessarily morally bad that they're involved and they let these companies have stock. That is a very normal thing in the realm of business and stuff. I am just trying to show you, wonderful, beautiful viewer who clicked on this video, that... Oh, I didn't realize the music stopped. Sorry. Wonderful viewer, that these people are the ones who are going to be making the decisions for the next however many years that Jean-Claude whatever is in charge, and these people want to make money, so that's why they hired a guy who specifically specializes in producing slop. Massive multiplayer online free-to-play slop. And that's exactly what it is. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. Now we go down the investor firms. This is, I believe this. Yeah, because this was me just showing the Akita Capital. which I'm assuming is this company, from the last name and me not being able to pronounce that and Google pulling it up, but it's a pension, hold on, I can't read any of that. Pension insurance company in Finland, which tracks, and then we go to the next one, Proprius Partners Micro Finland, which is, I guess another, maybe investment firm? I'm not really sure. Let's see. Translate this: fund invests assets and securities in small, medium Finnish company. Yeah, it's another investment firm. So another group of rich people that Sam Lake and all co are going to and saying, please give us money to fund our thing because it'll make you money. Now, their single-player things have not been making money for their investors, which is why they're rearranging their CEOs and kicking out the people that owned the company and replacing them with someone that will make them slop and make money, and why they're trying to appeal to... where's the Discord? International markets like Brazil and China, who are, especially for China, are mostly mobile gaming places with people that the general public can't really afford their own PCs, so they play a lot of free-to-play games or games that are accessible through browsers, logging in, basically having an account instead of owning the game. China specifically, I mean, you have tons of internet cafes. They're trying to hit that free-to-play market where, you know, people buy skins and not the game, because, well, look at Fortnite, Warzone, the Apex Legends. All these free-to-play games have made more money than any game in the past 10 years. Fortnite has made probably more money than any game ever, sadly. And because of that, it makes things like this happen in the industry, where we have kind of the last bastions for art falling because investors and just being a publicly traded company. Now lastly, Johannes, I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name, is a Remedy's chief commercial director, this wonderful gentleman here. Probably a good guy. Looks like he is served as manager, so he's probably the guy behind all the money and everything, trying to make the decisions so everyone there can get paid. And again, none of this is morally bad. It's just showing that the company probably is not, after Control Resonant, probably is not going to be focusing on single-player games anymore. And you can kind of see them already starting to want to make that transition with FBC Firebreak. Now, if you play FBC Firebreak now, it has the Remedy kind of stuff there. I at least can feel like it was made in the beginning to be sold like a normal game, and they weren't trying to make it free to play. But with the last couple of updates, I think that they're building content onto the game in order to then release it as free to play later. So, with all that being said, I would like to round this video out on saying that all of this is speculation. I don't know anything. I'm just a guy. But I'm trying to show you, dear viewer, that whenever you see something like this, and kind of everyone's freaking out about one guy or one thing or whatever, that you should do what you can in order to find your own information and get your own kind of idea of what things are. We've all seen tons of corporate speak from AAA developers like this, saying they'll protect what makes the studio special, etc. And I'm tired of seeing what I call the Bungie effect happen, where the company gets bought out And after a couple years, it's completely unrecognizable from the company that it used to be, and they don't make the same art that they used to. I would like to reference Sideswipe BL's wonderful video that I will put in the description, which I highly recommend you go check it out, give it a full watch, but I want to focus on this part right here. Bungie was not always owned or ran by awful people. It used to be ran by people with a soul, and right on the front of it, it used to have, right before you walked into Bungie, it used to say, "We make games that we want to play."
And this picture is old and grainy because it's an old picture I actually found on my cell phone, because we took down that motto a little while after D2 launch. And our new studio motto, this is a more recent picture, is "We create worlds that inspire friendship."
Look at that wording. That wording's very specific. That means that they're trying to make games that get people to want their friends to play with them, which means they're trying to market to things that are to a bunch of people instead of making something that they love, because at the end of the day, they want to make money. And they need to do it in a way where they do it through corporate speak like this, so they make you think they're your friend when they're not. They make games to make money. Never forget that. I'm that guy trying to teach you how to unalive yourself. This whole video, I've been naked. That's why I'm wearing this, because I have a stent in from my kidney stone, and it's really uncomfortable, and I feel like I'm just leaking constantly. So, like the video, subscribe, and remember, I'm just a crazy guy rambling to you.